I'd like to thank you all for joining us here this evening for the 19th Ottawa Township Educational Foundation Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm Kane Farabaugh, and I'm the Public Relations Coordinator for Ottawa High School, a position I took on in September when I retired as the Midwest TV correspondent for Voice of America. I'm also an independent documentary producer and a very proud 1995 OTHS graduate and a 2020 inductee to the Educational Foundation Hall of Fame. I'm currently the president of the OTHS Educational Foundation, and for the last 14 years, I've had the distinct honor to be your master of ceremonies for this event. So thanks for having me back another year. I'm glad I haven't ruined it so far. Yep. It's an honor for me to be here again tonight in front of so many talented and accomplished people from Pirate Nation. I want to take a moment here, and if I could ask those of you who are here tonight who are previous inductees into the OTHS Hall of Fame or family members representing OTHS Hall of Fame members, could you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for making our school proud and for being here tonight to welcome more members into the club. I'd also like to take a moment for us to honor and recognize all those present tonight who have served or are serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. Could you please stand? On behalf of this school, thank you for your service to our country. It's now my honor to introduce to you Ottawa Township High School Superintendent Dr. Michael Cushing. Dr. Cushing has been superintendent since 2015. He is a 1992 graduate of Marquette High School, and his wife Ingrid, who serves as the assistant superintendent of LaSalle Peru High School, is a 1995 graduate of Ottawa High School. Dr. Cushing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please give Kane Farabaugh a round of applause as a thank you for being our MC for tonight's event. Kane will return in just a brief moment to introduce each of tonight's inductees. Good evening and welcome, Hall of Fame honorees, family members, and friends. On behalf of Ottawa Township High School's Board of Education, Administration, faculty, staff, and students, I would like to congratulate each of tonight's inductees. I would also like to take a moment to thank several people who made tonight's induction ceremony possible. I would ask that you please hold your applause until all are recognized. Thank you to the Decade, Nominating, and Selection Committee members for the time and effort that goes into the selection process. Thank you to those who assisted with organizing and carrying out this weekend's events. This includes Associate Principal Jeff DeWalt, Athletic Director John Leslie, Dan Isles, the OTHS custodial staff, business teacher Daniel Heaver, Director of Facilities and Custodians Brad Johnson, Assistant Technology Director Patrick Myers, Sound Booth Technician Randy Green, and Tony Einhaus, Induction Ceremony Banquet Caterer. Also, thank you to our band and choir students for performing this evening under the direction of Band Director Andrew Jacoby and Choir Director Allie Stakowitz. Additional thank yous for their countless hours of work preparing for this weekend's events. Don Harris, author of the Friday Night Introductions. I read them, they were very good. And author of our narratives for the Hall of Fame plaques. Susan McDonald, Foundation Hall of Fame Coordinator, and Kelly Schmidt, Foundation Administrative Assistant. A final thank you to the OTHS Educational Foundation. The induction ceremony and dinner would not be possible without the Foundation's continued support. Please join with me in giving these individuals and groups a round of applause. At this time, I will ask Kane to return to the podium. Thank you.
Yes, I think I just want to reinforce that we're all glad that you're here with us tonight. We understand that it's absolutely bitter cold outside and that last night's introductions between the basketball games didn't happen, but that makes tonight that much more special, and we're thankful that all of you made it tonight, and we're going to have an awesome evening celebrating all of our new inductees. But before I do that, I just want to take this moment now to introduce my fellow Ottawa Township High School District 140 Educational Foundation Board member and the current mayor of Ottawa, Rob Hasty, who is a 1994 graduate of Ottawa High School, and he's going to tell you just a little bit more about our foundation. Rob?
Thank you, Kane. Established in 1993, the Ottawa Township High School District 140 Education Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to securing and channeling private funds to support and enhance the educational programs and activities of Ottawa Township High School students. Through generous donations, the foundation provides grants for new equipment, supports innovative teaching initiatives, and strengthens scholastic resources beyond the limits of the school's regular budget. To date, the foundation has provided approximately $400,000 in grants and other support, in addition to helping ensure that our students have access to the most current and relevant technology and educational resources. The foundation is also responsible for the Courtyard Project outside Kingman Gymnasium, the Hall of Fame, and the Student of the Month program. Our hope is that through continued growth and generosity, the foundation can keep making a meaningful impact on Ottawa Township High School and the students of this district. Some might ask why a public school like Ottawa Township High School needs the support of an independent private foundation. The reality is that Illinois ranks relatively low among states in direct funding for its schools. And yet, the majority of the more than 2 million students who attend Illinois public schools will remain here to live and work throughout their adult lives. The economic vitality, future growth, and quality of life we all share are shaped by this reality. By investing in educational excellence, we are not only enriching the lives of today's students, but also strengthening our communities and our collective future. The Hall of Fame was established by the foundation to recognize and celebrate excellence, whether in academics, the fine arts, athletics, or other distinguished achievements. By highlighting the accomplishments of our inductees, we hope to inspire today's students with the standards of excellence set by those who came before them, and in doing so, continue to foster a culture of achievement. We are especially pleased that the 2026 group of inductees sets such a high standard for those who will follow. It is difficult to place them into single categories because of their lives reflect excellence across many endeavors. What connects them all is Ottawa Township High School, an enduring part of their story and their accomplishments. We congratulate each of you on your induction and your achievements, and we thank you for the example you have set. We are proud of what you have meant to Ottawa Township High School, and we look forward to honoring you this evening. Thank you.
During this 148th year of Ottawa Township High School, I again welcome you to this, our 19th Ottawa Township High School Educational Foundation Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony provides a unique opportunity to honor those selected. Inductees are selected by way of a three-tiered process. Considered for recognition and selection are individuals, OTHS teams, and OTHS groups nominated during an open application process in which anyone can put forward a recommendation for induction. The focus of the Hall of Fame is to recognize excellence in achievement while a high school student after leaving Ottawa Township High School, or a combination of both. Some honorees also may not have attended Ottawa Township High School, but are significant and accomplished contributors to the school, our community, and society. The central plaque on the 400-floor wall, where all of the Hall of Fame inductee plaques are located, describes the overarching theme of the OTHS Hall of Fame. In bold on the plaque is the statement, "From ordinary beginnings, many, through determination, commitment, effort, and high expectations, have accomplished the extraordinary." I am very honored this evening to have the opportunity to introduce you all to a very special group of 5 individuals and 1 historic team who lived up to that credo. Our first inductee is Dr. Richard Martin, a 1958 graduate of Ottawa Township High School. Martin was an outstanding athlete during his time at OTHS. In football, he was an all-conference quarterback. He served as co-captain his senior year on the undefeated 1957 Pirate football team. He received all-state honorable mention and was offered several college scholarships. In basketball at OTHS, he was a starting forward on a Pirate team reaching the Sweet 16 when it was a single-class IHSA state tournament. In OTHS tennis, he was a 4-year varsity letter winner, the first OTHS tennis player to qualify for the IHSA state tournament, and the first OTHS player to win the NCIC conference singles title. Martin accepted a tennis scholarship to Indiana University, where he was a member of the Indiana University tennis team for 3 years, chosen as captain his senior year, but instead began dental school. After beginning a career as a pediatric dentist, he joined the U.S. Army, where he eventually ran a dental clinic at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. After serving in the Army, Martin began a pediatric dental practice in Bloomington, Illinois. He has participated in more than a dozen volunteer mission trips to South America and the Caribbean to provide free dental care for children in poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our distinct honor to introduce you to Dr. Richard Martin. Congratulations, Dr. Martin.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say, but I am very honored that I was involved in being in the Hall of Fame. It means a lot because the high school really meant a lot with me, and it still does. As I look back trying to prepare things to say, I look back at my history, and I was so fortunate to have the history that I had. And included in, besides having a mom and dad and a family and friends and neighbors, I had the school that really supported me. And I am thoroughly blessed. And that kind of let me go on with my life. And I worked hard, and I can remember my mom. My mom had a big influence, but that she had a saying. It says, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. And that kind of hits me, and it still hits me now that you know, I can be good, but I can be better. Well, I can be better, but I can be best. I have a role to play if I'm going to go along this route. But I got married, I have 3 children, I'm very well taken care of, I feel really good. But it wasn't until my 30 years old or something like that, in my 30s, that I found out that something was missing. I wanted a close relationship with God. And how was I going to get that? In the Bible it says, a thief comes and robs and steals and takes away, but I come, this is Jesus talking, I'm coming to give you life. And that life is what I wanted inside me, that I can have peace from God. And so I gave my life to God. And I'm not going to talk too long, but I want you to know that, give you an example, on these overseas mission trips, I've gone to quite a few all around the world. And I'll give you an example of one that really speaks to me how God works. From our church, we decided to go to Romania, up in the mountains of Romania, where we could teach some kids English. And so I was excited about that. I love kids. I enjoy teaching. I do all of this. And so about 6 of us flew over to Romania. We got there, and we started teaching, and it was really a pleasure. It was a very poor area, and but the kids were so exciting. There was one little girl over there. She would raise her hand all the time, and she was excited. I knew that, boy, she was really nice. It got to be Thursday, and Thursday somebody on our team came up and says, "Hey, we got a problem." I said, "Well, what's our problem?" He said, "The problem is that we brought over 50 gifts to give to kids if they came Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they get a gift. But we have 51 kids. What are we going to do?" I says, "Well, I'll pray about it. We'll see what happens." So that night I was going through my backpack, and when I was looking through my backpack, I saw this watch, and it was a lady's watch. What happened was I used to do a lot of bike riding in the weather was nice, and I'd get home late, and my wife says, "Where have you been?" I said, "About riding my bike." "Didn't you know what time it is?" I said, "I don't have a watch." So next thing I know, Saturday, she was at a garage sale, and she found a watch. But it was a lady's watch. And I said, "Why a lady's watch?" I said, "Okay, I'll just have that." So I kept that with me. In my backpack, now I fast forward up to Romania, that it came time, the end of the time on Friday, to give out these prizes. But this one girl raising her hand, she'd be number 51. She's going to get that watch. So I, through an interpreter, asked her what time it was. She goes, and then she tells me the time. Well, I'm not going to give her a watch. She already has one. She has it on her wrist. Oh, I know. Back in the back of this church, there was it's an old one-room church. There was a 55-gallon drum, and they put lumber in there, and that's what heated it up. And here was a girl who would come in with a hooded sweatshirt, and she would just cuddle up next to that fire all the time. And I just I thought maybe I ought to offer to her. So we passed out the 50, and it was her turn, so I came up to her. Her name was Lydia. I said, Lydia, would you take this watch for coming here 5 times, you know, and she went like that, and so she got the watch. Oh, I felt really good. I gave it to somebody I think that would really enjoy it. And so the next day, Saturday, we were walking through the village, and as we were walking through the village, we looked, and here's a path going up there, and I asked the guide, I said, what's up that path? He said, oh, that's somebody's house. There's a mean guy there. He's gone all the time. He comes home and he beats his wife. He's not nice, and they have 2 kids that lay in bed, and they're hurting. And so I said, hey, can we go up there? I'd like to check their teeth. I'd like to check them over, and then I'd like to talk to the mom how to take care of the teeth, how to clean the teeth, not how to brush the teeth, how to get them clean. So we did up there, and so the moms, we were after that. We went up there and we did that, and then what happened was that we were sitting around in a circle, and somebody asked the mom and says, "Yeah, was that Lydia? Did she get the watch?" Yeah, and she says, "Oh yes." She said, "Let me tell you the story about the watch." She said, "This was in January, and the 1st of December, Lydia came up and she says, 'Mom, can I have a watch for Christmas?' And the mom said, 'Lydia, you know we don't have any money. If you want a watch, you have to pray about it.'" I just started crying. That how did God know that this lady, Lydia, was going to pray for that and have my wife pick a watch for me to carry that in my backpack through Chicago, over to Romania, up above, put Lydia in my groove in order to do it. That's how God works. He works in us and through us if we allow him to. And so I'm not going to talk anymore, but I just want to thank you very much for having me here and doing the job that you're doing. And the ball team, keep working, fellas, because remember what you gained from your teamwork, and it'll all work out fine. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Dr. Charles Sheaf, a 1966 graduate of Ottawa Township High School. During his time at OTHS, Dr. Sheaf was a 4-year member of the award-winning band and a member of the National Honor Society. After graduation from OTHS, he attended and graduated from the University of Illinois, then received his medical degree from Rush Medical College in Chicago. Dr. Sheaf was a general surgeon for more than 45 years prior to his retirement from private practice in Jacksonville, Illinois. He traveled to Haiti in 2010 to volunteer his services after a major earthquake struck the country. He made a second humanitarian trip to Haiti in 2012, followed by 2 trips to Ghana, performing general surgery and teaching surgical techniques. He traveled on 3 trips to Guatemala, conducting hernia repairs and gallbladder removals for the local Mayan population. In 2016, Dr. Sheaf and his wife Lynn, a nurse practitioner, traveled to India at their own expense to help immunize children against polio. Dr. Sheaf is a founder and CEO of the Jacksonville Promise, a charitable community organization dedicated to providing college educational assistance to area high school students. Since its inception, the organization supported 350 students and currently expects to support 100 students for 8 semesters at $1,500 to $2,100 per semester. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Charles Sheaf.
Well, I didn't prepare anything as long as Dick's, but and it's a hard act to follow. But I was quite surprised by this award, and I'm very gratified by it. There's must be time to speak. There's There's a tremendous amount of personal gratification and reward in doing missionary trips. I retired from surgery about 5 years ago, but I've kept my skills up by doing a couple of missionary trips a year and plan to go back again this year. And I don't do it for any kind of public recognition. I didn't expect to get any award for that, but there's tremendous self-gratification. Comes from helping people, and it comes from reaffirming my own skills. And there are some surprises. In Haiti, I was doing surgery on picnic tables with a headlight because there were no facilities out in the countryside. And you would have people coming in with tumors. They're complex surgeries as well as simple surgeries. One young lady that I took care of had said that she was hit by a car and it caused her teeth to cut part of her lower lip out. It turned out that later she confessed that she and another woman had a fight over a man, and the other woman bit her lip off. But putting that lip back together again and making her look normal was extraordinarily gratifying, giving her a life back again. I guess the other thing that I'm very proud of is the scholarship committee that we started 15 years ago and finally got it up and going 10 years ago, and it has grown from raising $40,000 a year to give scholarships to students locally in Jacksonville, Illinois, and now we have 55 students a year starting in that program and receiving up to $14,400 over the course of 4 years, each of them. So, and that operates with a budget of about $250,000 a year right now, and that's extraordinarily gratifying. It takes a lot of work, but it's very gratifying. I appreciate it. This is an award that was really arranged by my peers. One of my high school classmates managed to nominate me for this and secretly talk to my wife for several months to get the goods on me to arrange this and make it a surprise. So thank you very much to my wife. Thank you to my classmates, and thank you to all of you.
Our next inductee is Dr. Kim Novak, a 1970 graduate of Ottawa Township High School. Dr. Novak was the valedictorian of the OTHS class of 1970. She was also a member of the band, the debate team, the speech team, and thespians. When Dr. Novak graduated from the University of Illinois Veterinary Medical School in 1976, there were relatively few female veterinarians in the United States. Soon after graduating medical school, Dr. Novak returned to Ottawa and became co-owner of an existing veterinary practice. Today, Dr. Novak is one of more than 75,000 female veterinarians practicing throughout the country. She has volunteered and served as a member of the OTHS District 140 Educational Foundation Board, as well as the Illinois Valley Community College Foundation Board. She has also served as an advisor to the State of Illinois Disabilities Group. Currently, her veterinary practice in Ottawa is housed in a 5,400 square foot facility with 4 veterinarians and 24 full and part-time employees. The practice does both large and small animal work. And we're excited to welcome her here on stage tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kim Novak.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here at this special ceremony in this bitterly cold weather. I certainly want to congratulate the other Hall of Fame inductees. Way to go. I personally am tickled pink, gobsmacked, and so very grateful for this honor. When my daughter told her husband that I had gotten into the Hall of Fame, he said, confused, "I didn't know your mom played a sport in high school." That anyone, even for a nanosecond, could think that I had the coordination to play any sport in high school also tickles me. So thanks, Ethan. I was fortunate enough to start life with 2 loving, supportive parents that were teachers in the Ottawa school system. Anyone raised by Coach Bill Roothogger Novak himself realized very early on that persistence was a virtue and giving up definitely wasn't. I was raised with a brother and sister who have been lifelong support system, and we were doted upon by grandparents and an aunt and uncle who treated us as their own children. That strong nuclear family is just a beautiful gift, isn't it? I had a great boss right out of veterinary school, Dr. Loomis, who then became my partner until he retired. He He was willing to take a chance on a woman vet back in the day when there were no others in the area and darn few in the whole state. Or profession, actually. I married a wonderful man who found a lot of satisfaction in helping me build the practice while also farming full-time. How he held that old clinic together all those years, I'll never fathom. Then he was a huge part of building our new building and served as a general contractor and jack of all trades for the entire project. Gus Rinker has been a major part of my professional success, as well as a hilarious co-parent for our kids. Those two kids were a joy to raise and have become adults I'm so proud of. Thanks, Kate and Brian. Kate is mom to my two incredibly cute granddaughters, Emma and Lucy. How they bring laughter and joy to every day. Also, over the years, I've had a lot of coworkers at the clinic that have been an integral part of any success I've had, making my job something I truly look forward to pretty much every day. There have been a whole lot of pet parents also that have been really wonderful to work with. So there's a very large group of people up here with me tonight. But tonight I also want to say something, a few words, about a unique experience I had at OHS that was really life-changing and something I've benefited from daily and something I hated for all 4 years. No, it wasn't math or science class, although many of my teachers here were superb. I've never forgotten the passion of Mr. Alaconis's biology class or Mr. Bounds's infectious excitement exploring all things chemistry. My pivotal experience was speech team, especially specifically extemporaneous speaking and debate team, because I had gone to a 2-room, 4 grades to a room country grade school with the same 2 classmates since first grade. The student body and staff at OHS looked more to me like more people than I had previously thought existed on the planet. Naturally very shy and introverted, I entered high school so shy and introverted that it was a concern to my parents. Pa Novak was a very successful coach at OHS because he was smart and a resourceful problem solver. There was a problem with me. So to solve this, he went to talk to his fellow educators, specifically Mr. John, a.k.a. Determined Duffin, and his sidekick, the fabulous Miss Fennessy, the speech team coaches, and Mr. Judson Logical Lusher, the debate team coach. Mr. Duffin allowed that he could probably squeeze me into the extemporaneous speech event, and Mr. Lusher allowed that he would do his best to squeeze me into the debate team. They vowed to get this girl talking. In reality, neither event had a lineup of eager adolescents clamoring to join the ranks. In reality, I was the only extemp speaker for most of my 4 years on the JV and varsity level, for good reasons, because in reality, those events were the stuff of nightmares. Here's how they went. Saturday, during the 3-month winter season, we left in the frigid pre-dawn to drive to meets, mostly in the suburbs. As extemp speaker, I drug huge boxes of alphabetized files about every imaginable current events. We didn't have Google back then, remember. Topics like Vietnam War, civil rights, Roe versus Wade abortion rights, inner city education, North versus South Korea, Watergate, world famine, climate change, Ethiopia, the Middle East unrest, NATO, the Cold War, the IRA, and the Irish troubles, any current event. At the meet, the extemp speaker would pull a random topic out of the hat and hope to God that you had something in your files about the topic. You then had 35 to 40 minutes to prepare a well-organized, researched 6 to 8 minute speech about the topic. You could use a few note cards, but ideally it would be memorized, and at least 3 truly expert sources had to be referenced. Then, for more fun, a group of 1 to 3 judges sat in the back of the room writing out critiques while you spoke, judging us on speech content, clarity, organization, quality of sources, our delivery, even our personal appearance. Proper attire was usually a wool suit and dress shoes, so I looked like a midget, pimply lawyer wannabe. We were then ranked against other speakers in this round based on the points that the judges awarded us. We did this 5 to 7 more times on that same day. New draws from the hat, new prep, new delivery of those speeches. That is the stuff of nightmares. You can see why Mr. Duffin was able to squeeze me into this event. Debate team was a tad better. At least you had a partner to share the misery with and one topic to research. These Saturdays were my root hog or die call to action. It was a version without cleats or shoulder pads. I just knew I was going to perish from the fright, and yet I didn't. Somehow I persisted, and after a couple of these Saturdays, I thought maybe I should improve those research files. So I did. Then I figured I could read those critique sheets and work on what the judges thought I needed improving. So I did. Then I decided to watch the other speaker in the rounds and learn from them. I was truly a pathetic speaker when I started, but slowly, I got a bit better. I was able to start earning points towards our team total and even brought home a little hardware on my own junior and senior year. They did get this girl to speak. And I had developed a scaffolding for concise, intelligent communication that accompanied me to college, through veterinary school, and to every exam room, into business meetings and employee talks. Most recently, it helped me shepherd the clinic through the minefield that our pandemic caused for us essential businesses. I had learned how critically important expressing oneself well is to every aspect of life. Communication has never been comfortable for me, but I developed the skills to get the job done. Notice I haven't passed out here yet, so that's good. I had spent 4 years discovering that big challenges and great efforts often reap big and great rewards. For me, having my school, my team and coaches, and my family there to support and cheer me on enabled me to successfully reach those goals. I developed a reference point for the future. Was I the youngest member of my veterinary class and one of the very few women? How bad could that be? I had survived extemp speaking. And for every time after that, when I got into a tough jam, I'd say, well, you survived extemp, you can do this. I'd learned to root hog or die as an adult. I was so very impressed by this appalling extracurricular activity that I trotted my daughter, Caitlin, up to the speech coach at her own freshman orientation. Said I, this is Kate. I think she could do extemp speaking. Said they, I think we can squeeze her into the event. In reality, there was no line of acne-encrusted teens vying to do this event in Kate's day either. My story is not unique. I'm just one of thousands of teams this wonderful old school has impacted over the years through academic and trade programs, clubs, sports, and other extracurricular teams. A really great high school provides a safe, strong bridge to the greater expectations of adulthood. And Ottawa is a really great high school. There is something magical also about the confidence you gain from conquering a fear or strengthening a weakness. And that misery I had for 4 years has paid off for me for the last half century. Pretty good investment, actually. Our teachers, coaches, and support staff all provide this opportunity for our students, and I am so proud to be an OHS alumni. So thank you, my fellow pirates, because tonight we are all fellow pirates, aren't we? Thank you from the foundation for this honor, and to the school I say, go red and white, challenge life, and fight, fight, fight. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Mr. Gale Landers, the president of the OTHS class of 1971 and an outstanding football, basketball, baseball, and track athlete at OTHS. He played for the undefeated 1970 football team, which entered the Hall of Fame in 2024. After graduation, Landers attended Western Illinois University, where he was a member of the baseball team all 4 years. Landers was inducted into the WIU Athletic Hall of Fame as a member of the 1974 baseball team. He graduated from WIU with a bachelor's degree in business and accounting and a master's degree in athletic administration. In 1984, Landers co-founded Fitness Formula Limited and is now the sole owner of the company, which developed a Chicago area network under the trade name Fitness Formula Clubs that employs more than 1,000 staff members. Landers has established partnerships and affiliate relationships with Chicago's leading hospitals and physical therapy providers, including Rush Presbyterian St. Luke's Medical Center, Northwestern Memorial Hospital's Cardiac Rehabilitation Program, and NovaCare Physical Therapy, a subtenant located in 7 Fitness Formula Clubs. Recognized as a national leader in the health and fitness industry, Landers was inducted to the Chicago Entrepreneurship Hall of Fame in 2024 and was named the 2023 Advocate of the Year by the Health and Fitness Association, where he has previously served as board president. He served as a member of the board of directors of the International Health, Racquet, and Sports Club Association and served as the IHRSA board president in 2000. Landers played a leading role during the COVID pandemic, supporting fitness businesses and advancing industry-saving legislation while serving as the chairman of the launch of the National Health and Fitness Alliance Council in 2020. Landers speaks frequently at fitness conventions and was featured on covers of several industry trade magazines. He founded the FFC Cares Foundation, is an active supporter of Augie's quest to cure ALS, and serves as a board member of the nonprofit 111002 Foundation, providing scholarships and grants to students with financial need. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gale Landers.
Thank you. Thanks.
Good evening. Thank you, Kane, and sincere thanks to the members of the selection committee. I'm truly honored and grateful for this recognition. Earlier today, I toured the school, and I just want to acknowledge Board President Don Harris, the board members, and Superintendent Dr. Michael Cushing. The condition of this school is really remarkable. The buildings and grounds, the expansions, the river flood protection that they've put in, and the incredible artwork throughout almost the entire school is just phenomenal. I've been in many high schools over the years, particularly in the inner city of Chicago, and Ottawa High School compares favorably to all of them. I mean, it's really impressive. If you haven't toured the high school for a while, I highly encourage you to do so. So this is a place the community can really, really be very, very proud of. I want to recognize the class of 71, my classmates. We were a class of 400 students, and I'm incredibly proud of them. A hallmark of our class is our commitment to giving back. Over the years, the class of 71 has awarded 24 annual $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors whose parents were members of our class. And the class has probably donated thousands of dollars to various initiatives that the high school has had for upgrades and projects. So kudos to my classmates that might be here. And our class reunions every 5 years just don't happen by accident. I want to thank Dan Isles and Juanita Dixon, amongst many others who help, for the decades of leadership and dedication to pull these off every 5 years. And thank you to good friend Joe Avola and Reed Gage for generously hosting numerous class gatherings over the years at their dining and beverage establishments. That history of connection says a lot about our class, and I'm really proud of them. Now, just a bit of my story. So some of you know that I grew up on a farm about 8 miles southeast of Ottawa, a farm on a gravel road. So farm life teaches you a lot at an early age. You learn how to drive at early age, underage. You learn that effort matters, that you show up, and if you break something, you fix it. So my brother Gene could tell you I broke more than my share of farm equipment, far more than my share. But fortunately, my brother could fix about anything. That may have been my first lesson in leadership. Know your strengths and your weaknesses, and who to contact when you're in trouble. In that case, it was my brother. I knew at a young age I wanted to own a business. So post-OHS, as was mentioned, I went to WIU in Macomb. Now, truth be told, I essentially majored in 4 years of baseball and was fortunate to walk away with an accounting degree, which has been helpful immensely. My entrepreneurial desires and my interest in a healthy lifestyle channeled together and led me into the health and fitness industry. And it was mentioned in 1984, I co-founded fitness formula clubs known today across Chicagoland as FFC. 5 years into the business, my life changed dramatically. Within a 90-day span, my business partner and both of my wonderful parents passed away. It forced me to a real crossroads moment. I learned something I still carry with me today. You can't stop time, but you can definitely choose how you respond to it. Throughout all of it, my Christian faith reminded me that I was never walking alone, even when the path ahead wasn't very clear. Over the years, as we built the company, our unique hub and spoke model of 10 locations along transit lines throughout the city of Chicago and suburbs, that lesson was tested multiple times during recessions and especially during COVID-19. In March of 2020, the state of Illinois shut down the entire fitness industry for 3.5 months. Overnight, I had to lay off 1,000 employees. Toughest day of my career. Many had been with me 10, 20, 30 years or more. And across the country, believe it or not, 25% of the entire fitness industry didn't survive and never reopened. All of that, even though today we know that exercise truly is medicine. The health and fitness industry not being essential by the government during a health crisis pandemic was shocking to us. I and other leading club owners quickly in Chicago founded the Illinois Fitness Alliance, and I was asked by our trade association to chair the National Health and Fitness Alliance with the help of many other club owners across the nation. Our primary intent has been to advocate for our industry at the state and national levels and bridge this gap between fitness business needs and state and federal policy. Here's what I've known and I learned. Like it or not, for business owners, if you're in business, you're in politics, one way or the other. Advocating for your business brings a new definition to ROI. It's not just return on investment. It's also return on involvement, as I defined above. Fortunately, now almost 6 years post-COVID, the health, fitness, and wellness industry is now thriving, bigger, stronger, better than ever. We can overcome more than we think, and that was a simple example of it. But only if we're willing to adapt, stay grounded, call audibles, and keep moving forward. Ottawa High School really helped shape who I am. A lot of my core values came through coming through here for 4 years. The friendships, the teachers, the teammates, and the great learnings from people like Coach Jim Harris stayed with me long after the trophies were put away and the jerseys no longer fit. To be honored here today alongside so many deserving individuals and teams is very humbling. So thank you for this honor. It's great to come home. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Mr. Jeff Vezain. During his time at OTHS, Vezain participated in track and basketball. He was a co-captain of the 1990 to 1991 varsity boys basketball team. After graduating from OTHS in 1991, Vezain received a Bachelor of Arts degree in English from Northern Illinois University in 1996, where he also performed with the University Chorus, Vocal Jazz Group, Jazz Combo Program, and University Big Band. Vezain has performed professionally in a wide variety of artistic endeavors as a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, actor, and dancer. Over the past 20 years, he has performed with numerous bands from Chicago and Los Angeles. He has appeared in national television commercials, print ads, and lent his voice to radio spots. A drummer as well as a guitarist, Jeff was a finalist in his audition for the part of Blue Man in the hit theatrical show Blue Man Group. Vezain is currently a member of the Lieutenant Dan Band, one of the nation's most recognized military support performance groups. The band was originally formed by Kimo Williams and Gary Sinise and was named for the character Sinise played in the Oscar award-winning film Forrest Gump. Vezain has served as lead singer of the band in over 500 shows, performed in more than a dozen countries on more than 150 military bases, the United States Capitol, and the Grand Ole Opry. The Lieutenant Dan Band is one of the nation's most recognized military support performance groups and was heavily involved in the building of the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial in 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeff Vezain.
Can I do this? Is that, do we have a sound guy? Is this going to mess you up terribly? Force of habit, I'm sorry. I got to hold this thing. Man, that sounds way more impressive coming out of Kane's mouth. I really, like on paper, it's like, yeah, you know. But hearing you say that, I'm like, wow, did I do all that? I don't know. Yeah, this is really an extreme honor, and it feels even more significant now that I'm in it. Oh, you just adjusted the mic. Okay, I got you. Are we good? I can hear that. I don't know where you are, but I'm with you. Yeah, and I'm just so pleased to be able to serve as a great example of just how far you can get on good hair and charisma. I'm sort of joking. I just want to jump in here and thank the Ottawa Township High School Educational Foundation for choosing to recognize me. And I also want to congratulate the OTHS Educational Foundation on curating this group of honorees, because truly, this is an amazing incoming group for 2026. I mean, when I got the roster and I was like reading down everybody's list of accomplishments, I was just blown away and just more and more impressed, to the point where I was like feeling a little intimidated, a little insecure. It was like, Dr. Martin Sheen, surgeon, and then just a list of amazing accomplishments. Dr. Kim Novak, valedictorian, groundbreaking veterinarian, list of amazing accomplishments. Dr. Richard Martin. I'm like, I'm detecting a pattern here. I think it was about that point that Sesame Street song popped into my head. It's like, one of these things is not like the others. One of these things does not belong. But anyway, I shook it off, and I was like, okay. Gale Landers was like, oh, thank God he's not a doctor. But, outstanding athlete, successful award-winning CEO, entrepreneur. I'm like, that doesn't help. That does not help my imposter syndrome. But, at least with a state championship tournament or achieving football team, like the achievement is distributed among more people. It's like, it's a little easier on the psyche. But all kidding aside, this is an amazing group, and I'm humbled, and I'm really honored to be being inducted with this remarkable group of overachievers. So congrats to my fellow inductees, and it's a pleasure to be sharing and this occasion with you. I wrote all this stuff down, and I didn't even take it out of my pocket. I probably should. I usually just kind of speak and memorize, and then, I was told, oh, there's a podium. So I was like, well, all right, I'll use the podium. I'll write stuff down. But it's, out of my usual. So I just want to, I'm really excited to acknowledge and thank the two people who nominated me for this. I don't know if they're here, but that would be Sue Williamson. Oh, yay, she's here. And Roger Am. Is Roger here? Well, Sue Williamson's here. It is just an honor to be nominated by those two particular people. I don't know how many of you know them, but if you do, you'll kind of understand why that is such an honor. And if you don't, all I can say is it would kind of be like if tomorrow you learned you were nominated for some prestigious award, independently by both, Betty White and the Dalai Lama. It's like that level of honor. So, Sue Williamson was my freshman English teacher, one of those teachers who, you can't help but instantly like. When I think back on that class, I just picture her. She always has a smile on her face, always has, just genuinely enthusiastic about the subject, about her students, but, was best known as the head of the theater department here and directed all the school plays, I think upwards of 80 plays here on this stage in this auditorium, and, was just universally loved by all her students and just kind of like a surrogate theater mom to all of them, and fun and funny, but smart and grounded as well. And Roger Ann was kind of the parallel to that in the music department. He is beloved and, just one of the most acclaimed and most accomplished educators this school's ever seen. And I think it was Kane that was talking about the prowess of the music program in here. And a lot of that is due to Mr. Am. I think he took his choir. He was the choir director here for 32 years. I think he took the choir to state and won, I think, like 17 years in a row. It was crazy. And the shocking irony of all of it is that when I was here, I didn't participate in either of their worlds. I was never in a school play, and I never sang in choir. Because at that time, I was a serious athlete, so I just spent hundreds of hours in Kingman Gym shedding literal blood, sweat, and tears, with Coach Vansel. And I just, at that time, it was very intense, and it was kind of like being in the military, but not just. It was like if you were special forces. That's the best way I can describe it. I knew I could not coexist in both of those worlds simultaneously. It's only after I left high school that I kind of shifted focus toward music, and then ironically reached out to Mr. Am over the summer. I was like, maybe I'll audition for the music program, and he went out of his way and helped me prepare an audition, and I gave it my best. It didn't work out. I just didn't have the technical skills at that time. I'm sure he was thinking, well, if you would have joined choir, and he wouldn't be wrong. But in spite of all of that, those are the two people who nominated me, so it just makes it all the more meaningful. So I thank them both and, applaud them. And I need a sip of water. So the most thanks, the most credit, the most everything goes to this person without whom I would never have gotten here. I wouldn't be here at all, literally, because that's talking about my mom. And, I think might have been Richard who was talking about moms, earlier, and just the importance that they play in your life. And, it was my mom. When I was born, she heard a voice that said, "Sing to your child." She's like, "What? Sing to your child." And she's like, "Okay." And she did, and those were my earliest memories, and that's how I learned to sing, and it just became a thing I loved to do. And but aside from just kind of setting the pattern for my life, she was always there doing the good mom things. She was a guide and a cheerleader and a defender and a drill sergeant when I needed it, and just always had an instinct for nudging me in the right direction. And, it was her that when I left here and went to Northern Illinois University, she drove me up for move-in day and helped me load some stuff into the dorm. And just before she got in the car and, drove away, she was like, the music building is all the way on the other side of campus, straight down Lucinda Avenue. I suggest you take a walk down there. Go inside, find some people, tug on some shirt sleeves and ask some questions, get involved. I was like, I was kind of lost at that. I'm like, okay, maybe, And she left, and the next day I did exactly that. And as it turned out, that was the thing that just pushed the first domino that created a sequence of dominoes that led to everything that's happened today. So, and I just also want to say publicly, in 2019, my great love, my soulmate, Suzanne Wong, passed away. 2024, my dad passed, and I'm now in a place where it just feels devastating to even remotely consider the notion of my mom not being around, which is why I'm so grateful that she is, and I cherish every moment that I get to spend with her, and also with, and this is a story I wish I had time to tell, her high school sweetheart, now husband, and like a father to me, Ed Stash. And they're both here, and I just want to say thank you, I love you, and you're obligated to live forever. I'm sorry. Where am I? Oh, I'm sure she's not here, but I would have to mention Mrs. Ryan, music teacher, Mrs. Mary Ryan, when I was in kindergarten. it was her first year. It was both our first years, 1978. I was kindergarten. She was the new music teacher. And right away, right in the beginning of the year, Charlene Groby's kindergarten class in McKinley School, she just was like, this little blonde kid seems to really like singing, which I did because of my mom. And she just came up to me after class and was like, I'd really like you to sing a song at the school Christmas assembly. I'm like, okay. And I'll never forget walking in there, and 5 years old, and the gym's packed with kids just sitting in neat rows on the hardwood floor, cross-legged, and they rolled in an overhead projector and turned off the lights in the gym. It was pitch black, and turned on the overhead projector as a spotlight, and just standing there in this blinding white light and singing 9 verses of Mary Had a Baby. And something happened in that moment. I was kind of terrified, but kind of exhilarated, and just felt like there was no place I'd rather be. And I was like, I could do this forever. And 47 years later, I kind of have. And when I was home in November for a few days, when they had announced this, and her daughter, Julie Ryan, messaged me and was like, hey, I just want to say congratulations, Mom's so proud. And I was like, hey, I happen to be in town. How's your mom doing? Like, would she be up for a visit? Can I come say hello? And she was like, oh, she would love that. But, we live in Bloomington now, and I know it's a drive, and, maybe we could do a phone call. I was like, no, I'll drive down. So I drove down to Bloomington, and I got to see her in person and just tell her, I was like, I just had to come here and tell you, like, you gave me my first gig, and it's been my life. She's like, I don't think anyone's ever just told me thank you before. I'm like, well, I don't know how many people, you give their first gig and that becomes their livelihood. But Mrs. Ryan was extremely important. And lastly, I just want to talk about this school and this community a bit. In the past 20 years, as I've been traveling around the world with Gary Sinise and Lieutenant Dan Band, I've just gotten such an outpouring of love and support from this community. There really is that small town pride, and that sense of, hometown boy does good, and I'm just so appreciative of it. I feel it, and it's interesting. A huge number of the people that I hear from are former teachers and classmates. And so in a way, it all ties back to this school. And, growing up as a kid, this school was kind of the epicenter of so many things in my life, just academically, artistically, socially, and even geographically, just where this school sits. It's like a fine gem just, set perfectly in the nook of these 2 rivers. And it's like the gateway to the east side. You see it coming over Veterans Memorial Bridge. It just looms large in my consciousness. And so many of my formative experiences, so much of what launched me into the world happened right here. I think it's just so appropriate that I'm on this stage having this experience, because it was on this stage when, for the first time when I was 7 years old, I sang with another hometown celebrity, Bob McGrath from Sesame Street. I was standing right about there, and that was just the first of many performances that happened throughout my childhood on this stage. I did production of South Pacific in junior high, and then once I got to high school, every year, the Fine Arts Festival, I just lived for it. It was just like I just tolerated the whole year to get to Fine Arts Week, and then everything fell away, and for 1 week, I just lived on this stage or backstage, either performing myself or just curating the other acts, and it didn't matter. I just loved being in here. I loved the energy. I loved everything that was happening. And I don't know. All these years later, I just, out these doors and up that staircase, go to 900 and across the hall was Bill Meyer's creative writing class. And when I was a senior, he had us do this assignment. He had us write a letter to ourselves 20 years in the future. And, we did it right there in class, and he gave us an envelope, and we wrote it, and then we put it in the envelope and stamped it, and put the address on it, just where we thought we might best be reachable in 20 years, like our parents' address. And the idea was he was going to hold on to them and in 20 years drop them in the mailbox. Now, I never did receive that letter, and if anybody knows Bill, maybe they can ask him, like, Jeff Vezain wants to know what happened to those letters. But I don't remember exactly everything I wrote in that letter, but I do remember one line very specifically. And it was near the end, and I just said, whatever else, you better still be doing something related to music. And then I think I added something very quintessentially teen boy, like, or I'll kick your ass. Funny thing about that is, like, 52-year-old me could totally kick 17-year-old me's ass. Like, 17-year-old me did not know that 52-year-old me would have spent some time in a boxing gym and actually acquired some fighting skills. It wouldn't even be a fair fight. But the beauty is that 17-year-old me wouldn't even have to try. 17-year-old me would just be awestruck. I don't think 17-year-old me would have even believed that any of this was possible, that our picture would be going up on a wall in this high school. So, I don't know how big of an impact, my photo on a wall in the school is going to make. I imagine most kids will probably just walk right by and not even notice, and if they do glance up, they'll just be like, man, look at all these old geezers. But, I like to imagine that maybe, there might be just one oddball student, because I was kind of that oddball student who'd stop and peruse those photos. And I know that if that were me, I would gravitate to my photo and be like, huh, look at this guy. One of these things is not like the others. It's like, wow, how'd he get there? He's from here, really? Yeah, maybe I could do something like that. And, if I could be an inspiration like that to one kid, that's great, But maybe I'm just dreaming, but, I'm a powerful dreamer. I'm not an extraordinary talent. To go back to that good, better, best quote, which I love, you start from ordinary circumstances. Somebody said that. And I am excruciatingly ordinary, just in terms of my God-given abilities. But I have this weird, stubborn, just insistence. And I'm a powerful dreamer, and I feel like I've dreamed this whole life into existence. And I'm not done yet. I still have a few more things I wish to dream into existence. And I'd like to think that maybe someday they'll have to take my plaque down to modify it, just make a little addendum and then put it back up. But if not, this is more than enough. Thank you.
Our next inductee is the 2012-2013 Ottawa Township High School varsity football team. The varsity Pirate football team competed in the 2012 season. They compiled an overall record of 11-1, and that ties for the most wins in a season in the history of the OTHS Pirate football program. Their undefeated 9-0 regular season record notched a Northern Illinois Big 12 West title with a 5-0 undefeated conference record. The Pirates won the first game of the IHSA Class 6A football playoffs against Normal Community High School. They won the second round by 1 point, defeating Rock Island High School 21-20 in a thrilling game hosted here at home at historic King Field, and that advanced them to the quarterfinals. Their first loss of the season was also their last game that year, losing the quarterfinal round to the eventual IHSA Class 6A state champion, Crete Monee High School. The Pirates scored 322 points overall in the regular season, while yielding just 103 points to their opponents. The Pirates were led by All-State halfback Michael Hermosillo, who set several school records and was crowned the Northern Illinois Big 12 West Conference Most Valuable Player. Along with Cyrano Rayfield, named the conference Defensive MVP. Tyler Skolek, Austin Barant, Luke Lambert, Bobby McNutt, Nick Newrohr, Christian Price, J.D. Bryant, Will Hoffman, and Diego Martinez were also selected for conference honors. Here tonight to induct the 2012 varsity football team into the OTHS Educational Foundation Hall of Fame is head coach Trent Swords, who will introduce the team.
First off, just very humbling to be inducted with these 5 individuals. Very inspirational, and just as I was sitting there thinking, we all have greatness in us, and it's nice to celebrate it, and very humbled to be on stage with you. Now, I'm going to introduce the team. I was kind of thinking about this as I was sitting there, of whether or not I definitely want you to stand up. I'd also, I'd like you to come up a little bit front and center so everybody can get a view of you. So if you're not too shy, when I call your name, if you go ahead and stand up and make your way to the front of the stage, that would be outstanding. But I would like to start with coaches. These 3 coaches could not be here tonight: Mark Andrews, Mark Cooper, and Gordy Kirkman. Next, would like to introduce my equipment manager, Kevin Francis, assistant coach, Glenn Weatherford, assistant coach, Pete Sutton, assistant coach, Tom Jepson. I'm going to do my best to go through the athletes that were not able to attend tonight, so get all of them announced, and then we'll go to the gentlemen that are here, were able to make it. Those not able to attend tonight: Nick Smeets, Jake Schlechter, Carter Kraus, Devin Jones, Alex Heinrich, LaRon Coleman, Nolan Blankenship, Jeff Neiman, Bobby McNutt, Luke Lambert, Chaz Jonason, Michael Hermosillo, Raiden Fisher, Dalen Bishop, and unfortunately, we've had one young man leave us way too early. Aaron Pittman Teague has passed away a couple years ago. So I'd like to give those a round of applause, even though they're not here, couldn't make it. Now, starting with the lone sophomore on the group, Mr. Tristan Cunha. Moving into juniors, Jacob Vanda. Dylan Thomas. Bruce Zobar. Cody Stokes. Cyrano Rayfield. Jeff Kofoid. Logan Killen. Cahill Horner. Garrett Hoffman. Frankie Filippi. Caleb Doherty. Brandon Anderson. Now on to our seniors. Dean Thomas. One of our 3 captains, Tyler Skolick. Nate Roberts. Trevor Rexroth. Christian Price. He didn't make it. Yeah, I kept waiting. Nick Newrohr. Billy Moore. Diego Martinez. Another of our captains, Will Hoffman. Alex Hartman. I think he's not here. Kyle Damian. Oh, is he Kyle? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I had marked that you weren't here for the team picture, and then you sat right next to me. That's why I shouldn't mark things down. Austin Brandt. And J.D. Bryant. One other person that was not able to make it, Austin Bowden. Thanks, gentlemen. I hope it wasn't too uncomfortable for you guys to stand up, but one last round of applause for the team, please. All righty, guys, you can't give a math teacher and a coach a mic and a captive audience and not have me say a few words, so go ahead and sit down, gentlemen. I think you're also going to have Alex Hartman and Will Hoffman speak after I do, so I'll try to be brief. But like I said, as a math teacher and a coach with a captive audience, I know how to talk, I guess. Hopefully I won't bore you with any algebra lessons or calculus stuff. But I first want to just start off by saying what a great honor it is for this team to receive. I would like to thank anyone that was involved that making this a reality. It's a truly great honor for this team, and it's a well-deserved honor as well. There are so many people to thank, but before I do that, I want to do a brief walkthrough of the 2012 team and season. I know, Kane, you did. I'm going to add a little more to it. Most teams have a motto when they start their season. And, of course, we're the Ottawa Pirates, so our motto is root hog or die. Teams also develop some sayings during the season that propel them. And one of ours during the season, I can't do the chant, gentlemen. I don't know if you guys remember the chant, "It's our year, I love it, I love it, I love it." It's still on YouTube, and it's a banger. It gets me excited. I want to get out there on the field and get after it. But at the end of it, at the end of the season, kind of our saying was, "A team above all, and above all, a team." Every individual effort was made for the team. Any individual accolade was acknowledged as only being possible because of the team. Football coaches often talk about the three phases needed to be successful: special teams, defense, and offense. There are certain games where one phase will need to pick up the others to ensure victory. The 2012 team had games where each phase performed and picked up the others to ensure team victory, the marking of a truly great team. This team's story actually begins, in my opinion, with the 2010 season. This is when we won the new NIB 12 conference title and qualified for the playoffs. So going into the 2011 season, expectations were high, but we needed a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback, and so it was a rough season, a season in which we had 2 one-point losses and a gut-wrenching Week 9 loss to Sterling that took our chance of repeating as conference champions and a chance to get to the playoffs. This set in motion these young men into a focus to not have that happen again. A true determination on their part. So that's what makes this team special, and that's why their story actually starts a little bit before that 2012 season. The first game was against Yorkville. This was one of the teams that we lost to by 1 point the year before. This was our first chance to show the hard work and team mentality we had for the 2012 season. We won 49-0. A tremendous start to the season, giving us the confidence to secure 2 more wins against Steinmetz and Streeter, with the offense setting the pace. The next game versus DeKalb, a team that in 2011 we got up early on but stumbled and lost the game in the second half. So we had been focusing on improving coming out of halftimes and finishing off opponents in the second half of games, something that would benefit this team throughout the season. We ended up outscoring DeKalb 28-0 in the second half to get the win. The Pirates are 4-0. More people are starting to take notice, and our first major test of the season, a road game against Sycamore. This was a hard-fought defensive battle in which we secured a 10-6 victory. Defense and special teams showing up big time, getting the victory, and convincing everyone we were the team to beat in the conference and a serious contender in the state. As great as that victory was, there was no time to relax. The next opponent was Geneseo, a longtime rival, and the other team we lost to by a point in that previous season. We wanted to put Geneseo in their place, and we did that as we wore our powder blue uniforms on homecoming and defeated them 35-14. But truly special. If you're from Ottawa, the powder blue uniforms, you know what a special and powerful thing that is, and that night was just very special. But we are now 6-0, the front runners in the conference, and finally state ranked. Week 7 versus a winless Dixon team, there was no let up. Success can breed complacency, and with our last 2 games being on the road against LaSalle Peru and Sterling, focus was what was needed, and focus is what the 2012 team delivered. One of the longest rivalries in the state of Illinois, Ottawa LP. This particular year, it was our 113th meeting. It was a fierce battle, but we were able to give a gutted performance and secure a 21-19 victory, with the defense needing to hold off a late comeback attempt from LP. There's nothing like celebrating a victory on an opponent's field, especially LP's. 8-0, but we knew our business was not done. Setting the stage for our Week 9 matchup with Sterling, the team that ended our 2011 season and the team that stood in our way of a perfect regular season and sole conference championship. What a build-up to that game. And the game lived up to the hype. An epic battle. Down 21-7 at halftime. I remember the halftime discussion vividly. We were to get the ball to start the third quarter. We told them we're going to go down and score. We're going to get a defensive stop. We're going to get the ball back. We're going to go down and score again, and it'll be a tie game, and we will impose our will on them. That's exactly what this team went out and did. Got the ball, went down and scored, got a defensive stop, got the ball back, scored, and imposed our will. We were able to win that game 27-24, not without, again, each phase picking up the other. This time, again, the defense stopping several fourth quarter Sterling drives. One of those drives, 4 plays from our 2-yard line. We kept them out. Truly remarkable performance. The win secured the conference title, a perfect regular season, and knowing that their picture would be going in Kingman Lobby with all of the other undefeated teams here from Ottawa High School. Little did we know at that time that that kind of halftime discussion and that second half determination would be what would be needed for one of the best games ever played on King Field. We'll get to that in just a second. On to the playoffs. First round against Normal High School. Excitement and an undefeated season with the start of a playoff run. We were all enjoying the moment, savoring the moment, but still knowing there was more to accomplish. A tradition that was started shortly after I became a coach here at Ottawa was the Thursday team dinner. At first it just started before home games, but the success of it and the wonderful team building and became a before every game tradition. That week of that, we invited the 95 undefeated team to come eat dinner with us. Also being a coach for that team as well was really special to me to see the past and the present intermixing. It was nice to see, and it was just so special for me to see the 95 team look on with pride at what the 2012 team was accomplishing. and the 2012 players looking at the 95 team and gaining inspiration and words of advice and letting them know that they too had what it took to be a great team. On to the game. A little bit of a slow start, but defense got an early turnover. We went on to score and secured the 10th victory for that 2012 season, matching only on one other team that has 10 wins in Ottawa high school history, in that 95 team. It's a very special moment for both. Now on to the second round of the playoffs versus Rock Island, a game where lessons learned from Sterling would go help this team secure a classic victory. The best game that I have ever seen on King Field. I often get asked about this. What makes it so great? What makes it such a classic? My first response is, well, because we won. That's exactly why it's one of the best games and the greatest games ever. But just if you were just a fan of a football game, this was a great game. We were down 20-0 at halftime. Similar situation to Sterling. They missed their PAT. At this halftime moment, you could see the seniors just saying, this is not over. This is not the end of our story. This is not how it's going to go. And they came out and determined in the second half. Excuse me. We scored with 1:31 to go in the game. We were able to get the ball back while the defense causing a fumble. We made the PAT, all three phases, doing what was necessary: defense, offense, and special teams. 21-20, the place on King Field, if you can only imagine, was an incredible scene. Just people everywhere. I even remember about 5 years ago just being on YouTube and came across the game, and I ended up just watching it, taken back to a time that was just so special for me. That win gave us 11 wins for the season, again tying us with the 95 team for the most teams in school history. We were trying to become the only team with at least 12 wins. Our next opponent, as was described, was Crete Moni, the #1 ranked team with Division I players and a future NFL player as well. The weather was rainy and windy. We lost the coin toss and had to go into the wind to start the game, and it didn't get better. A tough loss to be certain, and a sense of disbelief and sadness. One game short of the state final game. But the accomplishments are special. The memories and relationships are even more special. I'd like to say that we finished second in state that year since Crete went on to win, but it doesn't really matter. Congratulations, boys. It was a great season, and so proud of what you accomplished. And just, again, for me, it's the memories of everything that we accomplished together. So one last time, I'd like to go ahead and give these guys a round of applause. Thank you for indulging me on that trip down memory lane. I get choked up a few times just thinking about it, but I'd like to do some thank yous, and then I'm not sure if I'm going to give it to Alex or Will next, but I'm going to get over to them here in just a second. Some thank yous. First, I'd like to thank Tim and Tom Yups. Thank you for seeing in me a coach and a teacher and giving me the opportunities to showcase both of these here at Ottawa High School. Specifically for trusting me in 1995 to remake the Pirate defense for the next 23 years. I'd like to thank Dan Isles for his work and support of Pirate football. I'd like to thank Mike Cooper, first as a fellow coach and then as an AD, for letting me be me and your friendship. And if he were here, I'd remind him RTBO, refuse to be ordinary. Thank you to all the coaches that I've coached with during my 31 years of coaching ball here at Ottawa High School. Specifically, I'd like to make sure I thank again our staff, Kevin Francis, Pete Sutton, Mark Cooper, Mark Andrews, Glenn Weatherford, Tom Jepson, and Gordy Kirkman. I cannot thank my coaches for all the hard work, dedication, and friendship that we have shared. Also, I'd like to thank the parents and loved ones of our players. The team dinners and the tremendous support you gave the team is truly appreciated. To the players that made all this happen, thank you for being you, accepting the challenges that we placed ahead of you, playing for one another, and believing in what we could accomplish together. I am so proud of what you have accomplished and that our lives have crossed and the memories we share. Finally, I'd like to thank my mom and dad for your love and support. I'd like to thank my family, my kids, Carly, Slayton, Ethan, and Stephen. I am so proud of all of you. Thank you for sharing me with my football and track families growing up. Coming home to your smiling faces made even the worst practices melt away. And last and most important person, thank you to my wife, Kim. Thank you for your patience, support, and understanding and love. You are in the Hall of Fame of Hall of Fames. I am so thankful that I have you in my life. Thank you, and I love you. Thank you. At this time, I would like to bring Alex Hartman to the stage.
So I want to relate my thoughts here to a book that I've read recently. It was called 4,000 Weeks. And for those unfamiliar, 4,000 weeks is roughly the average span of a human life. And so if you think of that in relation to the 2012 football season, that season lasted, 12 weeks, 13 weeks if you include the red and white game. But again, relating that back to those 4,000 weeks, that's 0.003 of your life. That's less than 1%. And I just think it's incredible how such a fleeting moment in your life can have such a literal lifelong impact. I think I speak for everyone on the stage here when I say that no one will ever forget what we accomplished as a team and all of those memories that Coach just reminded us of. It's something that we'll cherish forever, even though it was such a brief time in your life. It also makes me think too, of the time going back to youth football. Everything from 5th through 8th grade. It makes me think of the parents who donated their time to coach, worked a full day and then turned around and coached us. The parents who made sure we were at practice, had water, again, got us to the games, all the effort and time that was put in for that. And I think if you had a crystal ball at that time and you could tell everybody roughly 20 years ago when that was occurring, you could say, hey, all of this effort and time, all of this is going to be, all this is going to lead to the varsity football team that either we as players are on or your child is on. You will one day be inducted into your school's Hall of Fame. I think without a doubt everyone would say this is all absolutely worth it. And I think that I think really this induction and us being a member or being inducted into the Hall of Fame really truly is a capstone on something that a lot of us set out to accomplish in childhood. From a very young age, we put a helmet on and learn the basics, really with the hopes of accomplishing a goal like this. And my final thought here is, once the season was over, I heard a lot of individuals, they would come up to me and be like, oh, it's going to hit you, what you accomplished here, and it's going to take some time, but it will eventually resonate with you what was accomplished. And I mean, I can only speak for myself personally, but even throughout college, I was very, very satisfied with what we accomplished, but it didn't really truly resonate with me until I became an adult, and your obstacles in life become bills and buying a house and starting a family and getting into your career. And I think in that moment, or as I kind of matured and got into those points in my life, it made me realize how special of a time that was in life, where really the biggest thing that you had to look forward to was the game on Friday. So it did finally hit me just how tremendously special that time was, spending that time with my teammates. But I think a very special thank you is in order to all the coaches who made it happen, all of the family members who supported us and also were a tremendous part of making it happen, and also to the teammates as well. So thank you to everyone.
Was well said, Alex, which is no surprise. So it's, I think, Alex, you hinted on this impact of this team. You don't, when you're 16, 17 years old, right, it's hard to focus on anything that doesn't have a ponytail, right? And it doesn't hit you at that time what the spirits of the town being lifted, getting gas at a gas station, and people I've never spoke to just saying, hey, I'm going to the game, good luck out there. I have no idea who these people are. And it's just like, whoa, and, at the time, oh, that's cool. But now looking back, this school means so much to this town, and this team, you said LP, right? The 113th or 114th matchup. There's over 100 teams now that have gone through this school, and there's not many Hall of Fame teams. There's hardly any undefeated teams. Going into that season, we thought we were good, right? Like a cocky 17, 16-year-old would, but there was more to it than that. Because, see, an average team, they can't wait to, wear that jersey down the hall in the Friday night lights, but a Hall of Fame team, it goes back even farther than that. See, an average team will look at the massive bleachers we have, and they see that they're dirty, they see the old food on it, where a Hall of Fame team takes it upon themselves to scrub every square inch of our bleachers, power wash the bleachers. We painted all the chain link fences around the entire property because we already visualized the success of this team, even though, we had no idea of knowing, especially coming off a 4-5 season. It's not like we're back-to-back, coming off a state championship or anything, but we thought that much of ourselves, and we put ourselves to such a high bar that, we keep talking about, that year, and really it goes back even farther than our high school days. I'm looking out and I see a lot of guys I called coach, and we were extremely well-rounded fundamentally coming into that season. We definitely weren't the biggest team ever. I don't think we were ever bigger than a team. We weren't the most athletic team, and we definitely weren't the smartest team. But what I guarantee is there was never a team that outworked us, ever. And that goes back to you parents. The work ethic we had was pretty phenomenal. I think we were 98, 99% of the team was at every workout, after school, doing things upon ourselves. And, so no team ever outworked us. And also, there was never a team that was meaner than us. And we all know that comes from Mom. And, we had that tenacity, we had the grunt, and just, we didn't have a chip on our shoulders, but we just had, this vision, to be great. And now looking back, and now we're in the Hall of Fame, and I think it's finally really settled, and you realize, it was special. It was an incredible time. So honored, to be part of it and to be named a captain of that team. Truly, it's one of the best honors of my life, still to this day, that they thought that highly of me. And it just, working hard, you didn't want to let the guy down next to you, and what we learned from Ottawa High School, this team, from our coaching staff, you instill that throughout your entire life. And I'm even more honored now just seeing how awesome all you guys are. you know, it's a special group, you know, and to call you friends, you know, my ribs, I'm still hurting from laughing, you know. It's like this ab workout we have before this, you know. You don't see these guys for years, and now you should walk up and it's like, you know, we never missed a beat. And that's that brotherhood, you know. And if you ever played on a team, you know, man, we work hard, you know. You go through hell and back, and that's that bond that if you haven't experienced that, you know, it takes, you know, not many people get to feel that. But to see our photo now, you know, in this hall is going to be something. You know, you see all these great teams, especially that 95 team that they had their team picture that would just stare holes in you in the workout. You know, you got the sweat pouring, killing ourselves in the weight room, and you see that team just staring at you. You know, they were perfect, and, you know, you want to do that. And, you know, to accomplish what we went out to accomplish, you know, it's special. So thank you all. Thanks for the board. And it's good to be in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I'm just going to have the football team and everybody stand up one more time. Let's give them all a round of applause. So I'm just going to say a short story about that. So my son Lucas is graduating from Ottawa High School this year, and he was a 4-year-old when we were at the game against Rock Island where you won 21-20. And every year that he's played football, I have worn your red hoodie, 2012 playoff hoodie, to each of the games that, each of the seasons anyway, that he's played. But Lucas's first football game that he ever saw was your playoff run for Ottawa High School. And so he's graduating. He was a kicker for the football team all 4 years. And so you make an impact even to kids, you know, watching those games there. You know, that's ultimately what led him. And so I have a connection, even though I wasn't with you on the team. We were there watching your games, and it was a great run. So thank you for inspiring my son and for giving us all something to look forward to and be proud of here in town. We appreciate it, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's your 2026 OTHS Educational Foundation Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And before we go and move on to phase 2 of the event, I just want to make sure that I leave you with the words that are on that Hall of Fame plaque. From ordinary beginnings, many, through determination, commitment, effort, and high expectations, have accomplished the extraordinary. Thank you all for attending this evening's induction ceremony. Again, too, on behalf of the Educational Foundation, of which I'm the president, thank you. We hope that we see all of you at future induction ceremonies. What we're going to do now is all of you will make your way over to the Knights of Columbus Hall. You've met and were able to be introduced to each of the football players, but when we're at the event tonight, each of you will get your medals. We'll do a medal presentation ceremony over at the banquet tonight, and we'll all have some fun and have some food and some more fellowship and talk more about the awesome times that we all had here at Ottawa High School. So we'll see you over at the Knights of Columbus Hall. And thank you again.